Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. My name is Sam, and in today's video, I felt it was time to do another continuing every series that I'm in the middle of, because I did my video talking about every series that I was in the middle of a couple weeks ago, and I've forgotten about some of those, to be honest, so I need to get back to those, finish off some series. I also have quite a few library holds and books that are from series that I'm currently in the middle of that I need to get to anyway, so I figured let's do another reading vlog together. I feel like it's been a minute since I've properly filmed anything, so we'll see how this goes. I did also just get back from a vacation a couple days ago, almost a week ago, and your girl is congested. I don't think I'm sick, but my sinuses are not happy. If I sound insane, that's why I can't breathe. I don't know how many books are going to be in this video because I do just have quite a few books out from the library that I'm waiting for from the library that are all part of series. Usually I can't get more than like 3, but I'm in the middle of a fairly exciting series or a fun series that I actually have the last 3 books out, so we might end up just reading all of that. But anyway, starting out, I have 2 sort of bonus books for this reading vlog that I'm working on finishing off. The first book that I should be finishing off today is Accomplice to the Villain. Is that the third one? Whatever the third one is called, by Hannah Nicole Mayer. Listen guys, I don't think this series is for me, but I'm a glutton for punishment and also too nosy to not finish off a series. I've been listening to these on audio because I didn't think that it was going to be a series that I would necessarily enjoy, so I didn't want to spend the time eyeball reading it. But I also don't like the narrator. I think it might be a couple things. I don't really like the narrator and the sort of inflection that she uses in the book, and I also just don't think the writing style is for me. It's a very like cringy, sarcastic humor, I guess is the way that I would describe it. There's also big words that are kind of put in that are kind of unnecessary with the way that the characters talk. Like they all, I don't know, our female main character kind of just stirs shit up just to stir shit up sort of thing. Like very sarcastic, but not in a funny way to me. It just comes across as very cringy and annoying, I guess. Anyway, I have about 2 hours left of that. I think 2.5 hours maybe. So I'm very excited to finish that. I also feel like I never know what's going on in these books. Like I get to the end and I feel like nothing has really happened. But this one especially because I was listening to a bit of it on my flight to our vacation, and I think I fell asleep. So I think I missed something, but I don't know how much. So that's our first bonus one. The second bonus book that I'm currently in the middle of is Lady of Starfire by Melissa K. Rorick. Bestie Emily and I are doing a buddy read of this together, and we're reading like 50 pages a day. Normally we do 5 chapters, but these chapters are very long. And if we want to be able to read anything else, we don't have time for that. We've been reading this for a very long time. I'm currently on page 452, so I think I have about 5 days left of our chapter chunks. I think in part because it's taken us so long to read this one, and also I don't know. I will read parts of this book and I'll be in it and having a really good time. I think I'm liking this one a bit more than the last one, but there's still like so many things that are happening and so many conversations that are happening instead of just actually doing the thing. Like this is the last book. The ultimate final battle or whatever is coming, and yet it still feels like there's no urgency for anybody to do anything. And there's also still so many secrets. No one's telling anybody anything. No one's sharing their ideas. Like we still don't know anything, which I think to an extent is fun because maybe you don't see some things coming. But when you have characters multiple times saying, oh, I figured this thing out, but I'm not going to think about that right now, so I don't have to tell anybody. So many times. and it's so annoying. I would like one piece of information at least. Can I have one? Can I have one plan in advance of them going to doing something that doesn't really make any sense? I'm having a hard time with this. It's sitting at like, I don't know, a 3.5, maybe a generous 4-star right now. We'll see how it ends. I have heard that her other series that are linked to this are better, at least the Legacy series. I think people enjoy more. So I am still excited and curious to read that one. But this one, the characters are driving me insane. Those are the bonus books that I've already started, that I'm already working through, that I'm almost finished. Now, the first book that I'm actually reading specifically for this reading vlog is the continuation of the Game Changer series by Rachel Reed. So the book that I'm up to is Common Goal. This is book 4 in the Game Changer series. I have no idea what this one specifically is about, who it follows. No idea. But I have been really enjoying this series so far. I actually listened to the first 3 on audio because they were basically readily available from my library at the time. And honestly, the rest of this series I got a lot quicker than I anticipated getting. So I do have the rest of this series currently on my Kobo out from the library that I'm very excited to get to, but this is the first book that I'm going to be reading for this reading vlog. All of these are like male hockey romances. They're all on like professional hockey teams, and there's some like different tropes. I think so far book 2 was my favorite, then book 1, then book 3. Book 3 just wasn't my favorite in terms of like I just didn't connect to the characters at all, and the romance wasn't my favorite. But I'm very excited for this one. Curious to see who we're following and what the sort of situation is. The thing that's weird about this series is they have the same guy narrating all the audiobooks. And I mean, they're fine, but considering some of the other audiobooks that I've listened to, they could be way better. Since I have listened to all of them on audio so far, I'm less like a couple chapters of Heated Rivalry because I had both the ebook and audiobook out, but I'm intrigued to see how I like them reading physically. That's my very long-winded intro, updates on the bonus books, introduction to the first book that we're going to be reading. Fingers crossed I can do a solid chunk of reading today, and then I can give you some proper updates, unlike my last reading vlog. Sorry guys, I'm gonna go. I have to go get ready for work, so I will catch you once I have an update. Hi everybody, sorry for the awkward angle. I'm filming this in my car, clearly, on the weekend because I forgot to film something yesterday for a little check-in, and I didn't want to leave it all until Monday to do a full check-in. So I'm trying to keep this as internally in my car as I can. But anyway, I did end up finishing Accomplice to the Villain the other day. It definitely picked up at the end and more things happened, but overall I feel like there's not a lot happening in each book. So we haven't accomplished much. There's no really sense of accomplishment, I guess, or satisfaction at the end of any of them. So probably a 3-star. Like I said, I don't think the writing is necessarily for me in terms of the humor and everything that's used, and I just don't get along with the narrator very well. I think there's just one more book coming out later this summer, so I probably will finish that because I need it to be complete. And then the other very quick update that I wanted to share was I started Common Goal by Rachel Reed. I've only read about 100 Kobo pages, which for me, my Kobo pages is roughly double what a normal page would be. So probably only about 50 or so pages in. I'm having a great time. I love the connections to the characters back in book 1. It did take me a minute to remember who these people were, but having a great time. Ilya Rozanov keeps showing up in all of these books, and he is so funny. The dry humor, while also being so perceptive, is just hilarious. I was like audibly laughing to myself
reading this book in the lunchroom the other day, but having a great time. I'm not sure about necessarily our main characters 100% yet. I think it's kind of fun. I'm not obsessed with Kyle and sort of one of his main plot lines that he's pining for somebody else. That feels a little icky to me, I guess. Loving it so far. And I'm also trying my hardest to finish Lady of Starfire, which that's also picking up. Things are happening. We're getting some answers, but it's also still so like convoluted. But I don't know. That's it. I'm going to leave it for there. I wanted to just quickly check in, share a quick update before coming back and having too many things to talk about come Monday. So that's it.
Good morning, everybody. I'm here to do a check-in. I didn't end up reading nearly as much this weekend as I expected. I did end up finishing one of the books that I was reading, but I was also trying to get some editing done, so I was working on that. I did end up finishing Lady of Starfire this weekend. I read ahead just a little bit so I could finish it off and not have to try to squeeze in time to finish it off on Monday. And yeah, I finished it off. I am not 100% sure what rating I want to settle on. It's difficult because we've taken a long time to read this one, and so I don't necessarily remember what happened in the beginning of the book, but I think I'm going to settle on like a 3.5 star, maybe. I do enjoy the way that it ended. I like the way that everything tied back together. Some of the threads, I guess, some of the conflicts or things that our characters were going to have to figure out and work through felt a bit convenient and a bit easy. So that was kind of annoying. But overall, I am satisfied with like the end, final boss battle, I guess. It wasn't how I thought it was going to go, but I think it was a good choice. This series and this book specifically, it does still really bother me because there's so many secrets. There was so many times that you read the line along the lines of, and then they told us what happened, and then we would cut to a different part, or I think I just figured something out, but I'm just gonna try to forget about it and not think about that right now. And basically just any way that the reader wasn't gonna get the information. And I know some things have to be kept secret in order to have the like shock value of it all, but every single time we get a piece of information, and then even when we got information, it was very like convoluted roundabout way of explaining it, so I don't even really understand half the information that we got or why they made certain decisions or how the history like made sense and linked all together. So there's one book left in that series, which is a novella. So hopefully we can get to that very soon and wrap that up and be done. And then yesterday and today, I've been trying to dedicate as much time as I can to reading Common Goal. This is due back at the library like first thing Thursday morning, so I need to finish this off. And also Survivor starts tomorrow, so I will be booked and busy after work tomorrow. My Kobo is saying that I have like 2.5 hours left, so I'm hoping that I can get through it today or a very little bit tomorrow morning, but we will see. I am enjoying it. I find these books are fairly slow in the first half. I really like our characters' connection and sort of the flirting that they have been doing. It's really fun, and all of the cameos from other characters from the previous books, I've been really enjoying seeing them again and how everything's sort of coming back together, and I feel like are sort of leading up to events in what I assume is going to be in the long game. But also the writing is low-key so cheesy. Like some of the things I was reading today, I was like, well, who talks like that? Who behaves like that? That's okay. Sure. Still having a fun time, but also it's like slowly getting to that point that I've been reading this for so long, and I still have so many books that I need to finish before I can get to my March TBR. And boy, I'm desperate to finish my March TBR this next month. So I'm really just hoping that I can get this one finished and I can start working on the next book that I want to be reading. I'm enjoying myself. I'm having a good time. I am frustrated because I can't read as much as I want to be reading, and all I want to do is just bask in this sunlight that we're getting today and read my book. But alas, off to the office we go. Hello, everybody. I meant to do this update earlier, so it is now the end of the day. But I needed to give a reading update. I did end up finishing Common Goal the other day. I actually got to work a little bit early. I was able to finish that book off in the parking lot. I think I'm going to rate it like 3 stars. It was pretty good. It was really cute. I enjoyed the banter. It was just so funny. The banter, the flirting. There was also like an art element to this book. One of our characters enjoyed collecting art and also taking photography. So that was really interesting, although I definitely didn't picture any of the art properly. This was kind of a not really fake dating, but like teaching in a way, age gap situation. So at times it was definitely frustrating, and sort of the reason they were not able to be together was kind of ridiculous. The reasons that they were giving, but overall, the series is just so cute. I'm having such a fun time with it. I love the way that our characters come into their own. I guess they learn a lot more about themselves and the things that they're passionate about and just find the love that they deserve. It's so sweet. Thoroughly enjoying reading through this series. And then I picked up We Fell Apart by E. Lockhart. So I think I mentioned this is a companion novel, I guess, a side novel to the We Were Liars series. It takes place on another island in Martha's Vineyard. The characters know of the characters and the events that happened in the We Were Liars series, so it's loosely related, and there's definitely spoilers in here for that series. So if you haven't read those, but you want to jump into this, I mean, you can, but know that those events are going to be spoiled. This is very fascinating. I am just at like 100 pages into this, and this is technically a YA. I mean, it's teen, but I just can't seem to put it down. I like the way that it's written. In this one, we're following Matilda, who grew up with only her mom, and her mom was very much like a groupie to artists. She followed them around. They were never in one place for too long. She was always trying to find the next best guy to sort of take care of them. And then one day, Matilda gets an email from somebody claiming to be her father, inviting her to his island. We're meeting this like eclectic group of people, but it's just so fascinating. And knowing the way that We Were Liars duology went. So I know that not everything is as it seems, and somebody is not telling the truth. So I'm very intrigued. It's just like easily bingeable. It's broken up into 8 sections, and then within the sections, there are various chapters, but there's not any real chapter breaks. It's kind of just continuing, but I'm enthralled. I'm having a great time. Hello, everybody. Happy Monday. So, over the weekend, I did end up finishing We Fell Apart by E. Lockhart. I'm settling on a 3.5-star rating for this. I really enjoyed my time reading this. I never wanted to put it down, but I was also guessing everything that was happening. It wasn't very much of a surprise, and I don't know if it's because I know how We Were Liars went, and so I was waiting for not necessarily a similar twist, but a twist of a similar scale. And so I ended up guessing a lot of the things in this book, although not like in the same detail, but like the general gist. And so in the ending, I just felt like everything came together very easily and there wasn't a lot of explanation. And also, I don't know why some of the characters, specifically June, was telling Matilda some of the things that she shared with her. Like, Matilda's an 18-year-old girl. She's not an adult. Like, legally she is, but not in any sense of experience. I don't know. It was just kind of strange to me. And also some of the decisions that the characters made in like the epilogue didn't make sense. Like, I don't really understand what their motivations were based on what we knew about them. It just, I don't know. It felt like there was something missing. Like, it wasn't a complete story or something. I kind of finished it and I was like, oh, yeah, okay. And then I proceeded to write my review the next morning, and I promptly forgot majority of this book. So definitely not a long lasting impression, but I did enjoy my time reading it. The writing is also very interesting because there are parts of this book that kind of turn into like a poetic format. I don't know, it just gives a really interesting tone. Hello, everybody. I have a check in for you. I don't think I've mentioned yet in this vlog that I have started Role Model by Rachel Reed. This is the 5th book in the Game Changer series, and I am currently at 56% of the way through. I only started this book yesterday, and I haven't had a ton of time to read it today, but I feel like I'm just flying through it. I'm having so much fun. There's so many points in this book where I have just caught myself smiling to myself because it's just so cute. I don't want to give too much information because I don't want any of this to be a spoiler if you haven't read these books. In this one of our male main characters is a social media rep for one of the hockey teams, and our other male main character is newly traded to this team and kind of has some not great history with the people that he was hanging around with on his previous team. But after an incident surrounding some poor choices made by one of the hockey players' buddies, I guess in part he's trying to turn over a new leaf with this new team, and it is just so sweet. I just love them together. I do find that in a lot of these books, one of our characters is very comfortable with who they are, you know, just living their life and very comfortable in their own skin. And the other character is a lot more shy and reserved, hiding sort of who he truly is because they're on the hockey team, they're in the NHL. I'm just having so much fun. There was something that happened like basically right in the middle of this book that felt a little unnecessary in the level of trauma that it has imparted, considering the rest of the tone of this book. But I fear I'm having a great time. I'm thoroughly enjoying this. I in part need to read this one and the next book very quickly because they will be automatically returned to my library come Tuesday morning. But I'm also just reading really fast because I can't help myself. I need to know what's gonna happen. So I will definitely be finishing this over the weekend and then hopefully getting a very good chunk of the next book read. So unfortunately I'm not gonna have as many updates as I was hoping, but I will definitely check back in on Monday when we can finish off the next book and wrap up this video. All the things. But hello everybody. I'm here for check-ins. I did end up finishing Role Model over the weekend, and I love them. I love them so much. I rated this one 4.5 stars. This one was just so cute, and I don't necessarily remember what I mentioned in my last check-in, but what I find with this series, honestly, overall, one of our characters is very comfortable with who they are, very confident, out and proud, and our other character is either just coming to terms with who they are, really learning about themselves, to like very reserved for the most part, I guess. I just love seeing our characters get to be comfortable with themselves, especially in this one. I think I already gave like a whole rundown on what this one was about, but I just absolutely loved seeing our character, specifically the hockey player, get more comfortable in his skin and really embrace who he is, the things that he's really passionate about, and the things that he cares about, and the people that he cares about, and also just like standing up for himself. It was so good. I read the last chapter with tears in my eyes. If you know, you know. It was so sweet. I loved it. I'm obsessed. I am having the time of my life reading this series. Like the beginning books in the series were a bit cheesy, but you can definitely see how Rachel Reed's writing just keeps getting better and better. And I don't know if these were her first books. I know that she has other books, but I don't know what order they were all written in. But anyway, 4.5 stars. Absolutely love those characters. Then I started and read like half of The Long Game. And it is so nice being back with Shane and Ilya. I love them. This is like a slow burn of pain. It's a very dull ache, which makes sense with like the mental health things that they're going through and just their situation overall. Obviously, this is very much a continuation of the second book in the series, and also like kind of a continuation of all of the other books in the series, like loosely. So I'm not going to go much into it, but the discussions around mental health and the things that our characters are feeling and the way that they're coping with their situation seems very realistic to just, everyday situations as well. And it's just so painful. It hurts so bad. I have had tears in my eyes a few times already. There's some lines that just really cut in deep and just twist that knife. I'm going to try my best to finish it today because it does, in fact, get returned back to the library tomorrow afternoon. And I'm hoping that I don't hit a really emotional part while I'm reading this in the lunchroom today. Because that would be really embarrassing. I just feel for these characters so deeply. I just want them to be able to be happy and have everything that they want. And I feel like they're real, even though like I haven't even watched the TV show yet. And I feel like watching the TV show is just going to be like another heightened level of realism. I don't know what the word I'm looking for. There was a hockey game on the TV when we were out for dinner over the weekend, and I was like, is that the Ottawa Centaurs? With The Long Game though, this takes place over like a long period of time, which happened with Heated Rivalry as well. And I found in Heated Rivalry, because we were only like one book finished in the series so far, I kind of struggled with figuring out what was going on and what the timeline was. With the amount of books, the 5 books that we've read at this point, and seeing the little glimpses of the events in those past books and how they've impacted these other characters and these other players in this league, I just love it so much. I love seeing how their relationship is moving and evolving as these interactions are happening with the other characters in the other books. Because especially Ilya makes a lot of cameos in, I think, the last 2 books, really. I love it so much. And because I also listen to Heated Rivalry, I have the accent that the guy is using for Ilya in my head the whole time. And it has made my experience even better. Because even knowing when characters have accents, I never read them as an accent, but because I heard it previously, I think my brain automatically tries to create the same accent, and it's just so fun. I'm having so much fun while also being so much pain. I think I covered everything that I wanted to cover about these books. I love getting the other side of the previous books. It's just so fun, like seeing the situations from those characters in those books, and then also getting specifically Ilya's point of view on the other side is just, it's great. It's great. I love it. So the goal today is to finish this book. We'll see how we get on. Hello everybody. I wanted to wrap up this video because I have since finished The Long Game. I am so upset that this series is over for the time being. I know that there's supposed to be one more book coming out next year, and I did absolutely love this one. I didn't love it quite as much as I was expecting to. I thought it was going to be easily a 5-star. It wasn't quite as heavy as I was expecting to be, and I also wish that our characters had like one more serious conversation. I feel like they didn't really have the conversation that I was expecting them to have, and everything sort of fell into place kind of easily. But I also love our characters. I love the banter. I love the jokiness of Ilya and just them learning about themselves and learning
to really fight for the things that they actually care about. It was so, so sweet. So I think if I'm being like really picky, it would probably be like a 4.25 stars, but I think I'm going to settle on a 4.5 stars. I just absolutely love this series. I love these characters, and I absolutely love how everything sort of came together, and there was the nods to the other books in the series and the other couples and the other characters. I just absolutely loved that. But with that being said, that is the last book that I'm going to be reading in this video. I had a great time continuing and finishing off, or at least catching up on a couple different series. I definitely need to do this more. I love finishing off some series that I'm in the middle of. Let me know down below if you have read any of these books, what you thought of them. And if you'd like to chat spoilers or just find me on the other corners of the internet, all of my links are linked down below. I hope that you have a great rest of your week, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.